In this video, I want to share with you the biggest things that I learned from leaving America and what has changed for me and how I have been transformed through this entire process. For those of you that have been following my journey and who have been watching my videos, last season or the first season of Unsermon, I really shared my growth journey and also as a result of growth, the shame, the money shame, and the financial trauma that came up for me. I was very transparent about my entire journey. As a recap, this is what happened. Basically, I grew my team very quickly and I was growing my business very, very quickly. And I grew my team to 8 people. Just as fast as I grew my team, I started to feel all of this kind of stress and this anxiety and this shame around money. And I share all of this in the previous episodes. Basically, what I learned from the money shame and what I learned from this financial trauma, because for me, when I experience those things, it's not about what I'm doing wrong. It's about, okay, something is happening right here, right now. And it's very purposeful and it wants to give me a lesson. There's like wisdom underneath this shame. What I learned from that was that it's really time for me to clean up all of my financial affairs, both on a personal level and on a professional level. And as you guys know, if you've watched the previous episodes, I'm going through a legal battle with some banks regarding my father's gambling addiction. And it's just been a really big mess. And it's just time for me to really put 100% of my focus on cleaning that up for my family and for myself. And also, I realized that there were areas in my professional life where there was things out of alignment and out of integrity. And I realized that what I was learning about how to be in business, what I was learning about how to operate a business in the online world, I realized the techniques and the strategies, they were all really just kind of icky and they were extractive methods for trying to basically get as much money as you can from your clients and customers, whether you knew it or not. This is all part of the consumer culture. We are part of this culture that was built on extracting as much as we can from people who are disadvantaged. And that's how this country was found. And I talk about this all throughout season 1. And basically what I came down to was that I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of perpetuating this cycle of money shame and financial trauma. As a business owner, I have something really valuable to offer, and I know that. And at the same time, I really just don't want to be part of this online business world where it's all about like how big can you get and how many clients can you get and how big can you grow your program. Oh my God. All of it just sounds so gross to me right now. This is not what I want. This is not what I want for my life. This is not what I want in my business. This is not how I want to operate my business. And it's time for me to seek something different. Now, does that mean I'm going to stop doing my business? No, because I know I have a calling. I have something really valuable to share. But the way in which I share it, especially as a spiritual mentor or a coach, is going to be completely different than the way that I have been taught for the last 10 years. My journey has been so much about deconditioning, decolonizing, undoing, basically the brainwashing and the conditioning that I have received, that we have all received in this consumer capitalist culture that we live in. I'll admit it, not only was I learning and soaking that all in, I was applying and I was part of this cycle of like basically trying to get. Like, where's mine? And what about me? And what am I going to do to grow? And just all of it just makes me, I shared that journey with you guys through my past Unsermons. And it all just culminated into this point. Well, there was that, and then there was the spike in Asian hate crimes that was just so traumatizing. I turn on my phone, I turn on social media, and there's violence. There's just violence everywhere. And it was just too much. It was like I can't even like turn my phone on and turn on social media without seeing somebody violently being killed, like blood, gunshots, or someone being assaulted, I just had to stop it. I had to take it. I had to shut it all down. I had to shut it all down. So I went to Turkey. I went to Istanbul, and I was not planning a trip like that so soon. I knew I've always wanted to go to Istanbul. I knew that I wanted to travel at some point during this year, and I was like thinking, oh, maybe I should go in May or June. I mean, I was waiting for the pandemic and the kind of the travel restrictions to lift, but it just was a perfect, I don't know, everything, like the universe offered and delivered this perfect opportunity for me to leave the country, leave America. So I did. And one of the reasons why I chose Istanbul and Turkey was because it happened to be one of the countries that was accepting American tourists with very minimal travel restrictions. So I was able to go easily. Didn't know anybody, didn't know the language, didn't know what the hell I was getting into. And it was just the most amazing, amazing, amazing trip that I've ever had. And I wanted to share with you guys like my biggest takeaways from this trip. First of all, going there and being so far removed from the consumer capitalist culture, number one, being so far removed from my business, because I stopped using social media, I stopped working. Any posts that were put up was posted by my assistant. Also, being so far removed from my family situation here was so healing for me. It's not fun dealing with these legal issues and taking care of a mother who is really stressed out because of all the financial trauma and all the things that we have been through regarding my father's death and his gambling and all of that. To get away from it all was just so liberating. And it was what my soul needed, just to remove myself completely from all of the conversations that are going on here around my business. Like how do we grow? How do we get more clients? How do we make more money? And racism, like who was killed today and what's going on in America? Who's being violent? It was just so much. And to get away from it all really, really helped me to see that America is in a bubble. And I was right inside that bubble, even though I've been talking about deconditioning ourselves from the consumer culture, even though this has been my spiel for several years. You guys know this. Even though I talk about it, even though I write about it, even though I teach about it, it took me a trip far, far away for me to realize that I was still in the thing, that I'm still in the thing that I'm trying to get out of. I was still in it, still consumed by it, mainly through my business, and that I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to learn about business growth. I don't want to take any more courses. I don't want to hire any coaches. I'm so tired of it. I don't want to like push my business and my programs onto anybody. I've shared a lot of that already in my previous videos, but now it's like 100%. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do, what I feel like I'm being called to do. But I'm no longer going to do it from the perspective of trying to grow or trying to get something. There's something different about me right now. I feel like I've embodied the words that I'm saying and the words that I've been saying for the last couple years. And it's really kind of a new space to be, to not have to feel like I have to constantly chase something and do something. You have no idea how much time has opened up for me. Last week, it was a Monday. You know, Monday is first day of the week. I had nothing to do. And for the first time, I experienced boredom. And it wasn't like bad boredom though. It was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do right now. What's going on? I was like pacing my house. I was walking back and forth in my kitchen. I was like, what should I do? Should I, like, there was nothing for me to do. And I realized it was because the way that I had filled my time prior leaving for Turkey was that I had to do all these things and learned how to be a leader. I mean, I had like 15, 20 books in my queue about doing and becoming better and how to, serve more and do all these things. And constantly learning and trying to figure out what I need to do to be a better person. And my trip really helped me to realize that I'm already fulfilled. I already have all the things that I need. I don't need to fucking do anything anymore and read something and watch a program or any of it. And so that Monday, I was so bored because I wasn't doing anything anymore. It was the most amazing feeling ever. This boredom was like, all of a sudden, I just had all of this space. Now, before my trip to Istanbul and Turkey, I was so like, didn't have time for anything. My calendar was packed, constantly doing and learning and teaching. And once I removed all of that, I was like, wow, I've got so much time. I've got so much time to do the things that I really want to do. And it was such a new feeling, moving away from constantly doing and chasing to now simply being and being okay with not doing. I know I'm using this weird language, but it's really how I felt. And that Monday, I got so bored that I laid on the couch and I fell asleep. I took a nap. I don't take naps. It's not something I do normally. I took a nap for like 2 hours and then I woke up. And usually, if I ever do take a nap, I start to stress out. One, because it's like I wasted time. But secondly, I feel like, oh my God, now I'm not going to be able to sleep at night and I'm going to be awake all night and it's going to ruin my schedule and I won't be able to stay on track. But I woke up at 5 p.m. I didn't feel guilty about the nap. And then later that night, I fell asleep at a normal time too. And it was just so new to me, the whole thing. Okay. Here's what I'm really excited about. I have always, as a child and as a teen growing up, wanted to travel. I've wanted to travel the country, other countries, and I've traveled to several different countries by myself. But what I've always wanted to do was travel to a country and like live there for a year, to Europe, either in France or Italy. And what I realized going to Istanbul by myself, not knowing anybody, not speaking the language, was that this is completely doable for me. I always thought that the thing that I really wanted to do was something I can only do after I achieved like more status, I achieved more success. I have to make more money. I have to do something first before I can live the life that I really want to live. And I realized that I can absolutely do that now. And so I'm really excited because I've decided that I'm just going to go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back to Turkey. This is the plan. And of course, this is all dependent on the pandemic and travel restrictions and visa, of course, because you can't travel to Europe and stay there longer for 90 days within a 180-day period. But I want to go back to Turkey. I want to make it my home base for at least 6 months and travel all around Europe because Europe is so, like, everything is so close. Like, I can go to London, Paris. I can go to Czechoslovakia. I can go to all of these places with a train ride. I'm so excited because once again, this is the big shift for me, is that I never thought I could do that until after I achieved something, until after I built my business to 7 figures. Then I will have the money and the time to go do the things that I want to do. And what I learned is that I have all of that now and I don't need lots of money. And I can absolutely go and live my life now. One thing that was so cool for me in Istanbul that I experienced, and I have to say, I know that I had this experience as a result of the work that I've been doing around my money shame and financial trauma, around everything that I talked about in my previous episodes of Unsermon. I experienced so much abundance there. Yes, the cost of living is much cheaper in Istanbul. Your dollar is going to go very far, but it wasn't that type of abundance. It was like, I felt like whatever I wanted, I could have. And the really interesting thing I felt was that I felt like I was part of divine circulation, that the money that I was spending was going to people like, when I go to a restaurant, when I buy something, I could see the person, the store owner, the shop owner, or the business owner, or the restaurant owner. I could see face to face the person that my money is going to. And I didn't feel guilty about it. For some reason, spending money here in America, there's a level of like, oh my God, I'm spending too much, or where's this money going? Basically, over here, especially due to the pandemic, basically all my money has been going to Amazon. And it's just like, oh, I don't even know who. Well, I know who it's going to. It's going to Bezos. And I'm not even going to go into that conversation because he has made so much money from the pandemic. Being in Istanbul and spending my money there, I felt no guilt. All I felt was like joy. I felt really good. I felt grounded. Like I knew where my money was going. It was going to a good place. And I just felt so happy spending my money there. And that was the type of abundance that I'm talking about. And I've never experienced that really before, because in the past, it's always like with a level of guilt, or like, it's just spending money to spend it. It was a beautiful feeling. It was a beautiful feeling to be able to go and be part of divine circulation, and to know that my money is going to people, not like because they need my money. It's not even like that. It was just that there was a connection there, and I could see and experience the flow of abundance. That was really cool. The other thing I realized, going back to the life that I want to live, all of that is possible, and all of that is available right now to me. And I don't have to wait for anything. I don't have to do more or be more. I can start being that today. So I'm really excited about leaving again. I've been trying to leave America since 2018. I got that one-way ticket to Seoul. My end destination is still Korea, okay, but I'm taking a detour. Going to take a detour. I'm going to go back to Istanbul, travel Europe, and then I'm going to try to move to Italy for 6 months to a year. That was my biggest dream. Like, I want to go to Italy. I want to learn languages. I want to immerse myself in a different culture in Europe for at least 1 year. The biggest shift for me here is that I'm not even worried about how it's going to happen, or that I need to make money to make it happen. None of it. I just know it's going to happen. And as far as the business, I'm not even worried about that either. I'm really not worried about it. And talk to me, a month ago, prior my trip to Istanbul, I would have been so like, what am I going to do? And how am I going to do it? And how do we make this happen? And how do I set myself up so that I can go I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not even thinking about it, because I really feel deep down that all of these details are taken care of. For me, I truly believe that God is in the details, and I'm really embodying that truth right now. God is in the details, and therefore I don't need to know them. I don't need to figure it out. And I know that, as always in my life and my past, the next logical step has always been available to me. It's always been there. So even though I'm going to be pushing my boundaries and going places that I've never been before, and there's a lot of risk in that, I'm not afraid, and I'm really, really excited. What I want to basically share with you guys is that, what is it that you've always wanted to do in life, that you've always said to yourself, I can't do it until XYZ? What is that thing for you? Like, think about what that is. And I want to challenge you in seeing that those are just barriers that your mind has put out there. And I also challenge you to really think about what that thing is. And is that thing being driven by the consumer culture, or is that thing that you really want to do something that really lives in your heart and your soul? For me, the reason that I put off leaving the country and learning languages is because it's not profitable. Oh my God, it's horrible to say it, but it's like, well, how is that going to do anything for your career? And how is that going to be good for your business? Because it didn't make logical, practical sense. I always thought, well, then it's got to be something that I do after I reach a certain level of success. And so what is that thing for you that it's not logical, it's not practical, it's just something that you want to do? Is it painting? Is it writing a book? What is that thing? What is that thing? I have learned in this last month that life is happening right now. And for us to wait to live that life and to experience that life is an excuse. It's an excuse that we have created in our mind. And there's nothing that we have to wait for. There's nothing. that life is happening right here, right now. And I've been so blessed to be able to experience that life during this trip. I feel a little bit I feel a little strange right now because I'm so used to speaking and doing these videos with a very strong intention of like a call to action and like, okay, now here, subscribe to this. But I don't have any of that today. And I just wanted to share what I learned from leaving America and what I learned about life and what I'm going to do with it now. That's it for you guys. Even preparing for this, I usually do a little bit of prep, but I was like, you know what? I don't even want to prep. I'm just going to come on and share. So here I am. This month, I do want to say, is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I want to highlight and I want to bring on Asian Americans, my Asian American sisters and brothers. So for the rest of the month, in May, we will be having some amazing guests on. So just want to give you a heads up there, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.